The governor of Louisiana has taken over the LSU coaching search.
We are not going down a failed path.
What a crazy turn of events for LSU.
Making what is a very desirable job a little less desirable. This is an absolute dumpster fire of a situation. This is bad, bad, bad for LSU.
This is disaster waiting to happen, right? What coach makes sense now? What a crazy turn of events for LSU and the Tigers coaching search. We've got plenty to discuss here because, well, seemingly out of nowhere, in a matter of what felt like hours based on the reporting here, it goes from AD and head coach meeting about the future of an offensive coordinator to the governor getting involved. Crazy.
Yeah, and Jeff Landry essentially is called prima nocta over this coaching search, and he has handed it over to the board of supervisors, not the board of governors or the board of trust or the board of directors, but in Louisiana, it's the board of supervisors, and they are now in control, Hutton, and this is making what is a very desirable job a little less desirable when you see the chaos surrounding the coaching search in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, the $53 million buyout headed to Brian Kelly's pocket. Doesn't suck, let's put it that way.
No, not for him.
No.
Sucks for the people of the state of Louisiana.
Yes. And
they can't get basic needs covered by the state, but they're going to pay $53 million to a coach to not coach.
Yeah, and here's Governor Landry discussing that with the media.
The first question is absolutely correct. We are not going down a failed path. And I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach. I mean, maybe we'll let President Trump pick it. He loves winners. You know, I'm not going to be picking the next coach.
Well, he's stepping in the middle of the search.
Congrats, Louisiana, on electing Bobby Boucher as their governor also. I had to watch that thing 3 times to make sure it wasn't AI doctoring, because I'm like, this is not his voice.
This is like declaring war on the
right. Like I was
Woodward.
like, oh, this is one of those funny videos where he's just going to talk shit the whole time about the coach or whatever. No, that's an actual video of the governor of Louisiana.
And it continued about the AD not making the hire here.
Who's that? Scott Woodward. No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the board of supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach. Because wait, I want to hold on. One real quick thing on that. Because here's what y'all reporters need to do. Y'all need to start looking at who represents all these people, like these agents. You know what's interesting? If I'm not mistaken, Woodward's agent, Kelly's agent, the Texas A&M, they're all the same agent.
He's about to deal with them.
Yeah. Good luck negotiating with that agent.
Yeah, good luck.
Jimmy Sexton is the agent,
good
by
luck
the way.
Not going down the path that Woodward's done with the same type of contract that all these coaches get right now. I mean, it's, you know, Governor Landry saying, I don't know who's going to be selected coach. He says it's not going to be him. The LSU Board of Supervisors chair, Scott Ballard, didn't even know about this.
Governor Landry announcing today in a press conference that the Board of Supervisors will be heading that up. Do you have any response, any comment at this time?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you have any idea what the next steps might look like?
Next steps are we're going to go hire the best coach for Louisiana State University. I promise you. Go Tigers.
And we're going to let Donald Trump select that coach. That's going to be the next one on the list.
Hey, the Board of Supervisors is going to select the coach. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that.
I need the president to weigh in on Truth Social.
I didn't know that.
With his top 3 coaching candidates, because they should just select from that group. Because Governor Jeff Landry was turned over prima nocta to both Donald Trump and the Board of Supervisors to hire the next coach.
I mean,
this is an absolute dumpster fire of a situation. Okay? Like, this is not politics. This is not me being political at all. I'm not leaning one way or the other on this. If a governor that's Republican or Democrat or Green Party or Blue Party or Purple Party or no party steps into a coaching search and holds a press conference like that completely surprises everyone around him that he's supposedly been making decisions with, and talks about how the now athletic director, who's being paid handsomely to be the AD at LSU, has been stripped of his coaching hiring duties, which is the biggest part of the responsibilities of an athletic director at any school, and he has denutted him of that privilege and then says, oh, the Board of Supervisors will make the call. Let's go to the head of the Board of Supervisors. And he says, news to me.
No,
Didn't know I was making that call. This is bad, bad, bad for LSU. If I am that agent that he's talking about, Jimmy Sexton, and I've got a client who's in a good spot with a good AD and a good president and can get a raise where they are, I am advising him to stay at that spot and get the raise in that position unless things are clarified at LSU, Hutton, because right now it's total chaos.
Can we cue up video 3 again? I just want to see the reaction here of the chair, the chairman, Scott Ballard, because
Go Tigers.
I mean, this is why it's such a shit show, Chad. It's because the chair of the Board of Supervisors, who the governor says is going to run the search, it openly admits, after the governor has announced this, that he had no clue. And he's assuming, I guess, Woodward's going to be doing it. Here's, well, we'll just watch his facial expression from Ballard here.
Governor Landry announcing today in a press conference that the Board of Supervisors will be heading that up. Do you have any response, any comment at this time?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you have any idea what the next steps might look like?
Next steps are we're going to go hire the best coach for Louisiana State University. I promise you. Go Tigers.
You knew I said fire. We're going to go fire.
I think if you end anything with Go Tigers down there, Hutton, you're going to be good.
Go Tigers.
You're going to be safe.
So
it's an absolute shit show. And
why?
How do you not? Here's my big question on this. Like, you fire Brian Kelly after the loss to Texas A&M.
Right.
You knew that it was a possibility that your team was going to look bad, right, in that game based on them getting manhandled by Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Texas A&M is a top 3 team in the country, top 5 team at the low end. They're coming to your place. Like, there's a chance it could get bad. Do you not plan in advance, hey, here's how it's going to go in lieu of a president. Here's how we view our AD based on the other bad hires. Mm-hmm. He's made two bad hires in a row with a football coach, Jimbo Fisher at A&M, and now Brian Kelly. But, like, you have everything buttoned up that this is going to be the process if we decide to pull the plug. And instead, it feels now like a total spur-of-the-moment decision. They had no idea they could get boat raced at home by A&M. Didn't think it was possible. So then when it happened, the shock and awe of it forced them into this chaotic tailspin that ended with Scott Woodward getting into it with his head coach, them breaking ties, then not really discussing the buyout or coming to a solution on it. Just they're going to owe him the entire buyout and the governor having to get involved. And, oh, by the way, the governor clearly isn't talking to the Board of Supervisors, or no one knows what the hell's going on.
He clearly made the call whenever he met with Woodward at his governor's mansion, right? Like the reporting says they went over there on Sunday. I'm thinking this too, like, yeah, I'm sure they thought they could get boat race, but at the same time, why wouldn't, well, Brian Kelly knows he's got the $53 million. Why the negotiation over the buyout when he's got the buyout guaranteed?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what
the
negotiating power you have.
The language of it, we don't know the exact terms, right? But, like, on top of that, he clearly just didn't want to fire a coach. So then, did he go and try to, or did fire the offensive line coach, and that pissed off Woodward? I read that. And then that's when he went to the governor.
And I think also Woodward was like had a list of demands of who needs to be fired, and that pissed off Brian Kelly because it wasn't who he wanted to fire.
I mean,
it's a mess.
And it's clear that Woodward's out too.
Like, there is no negotiation. If the contract is the contract, unless LSU's got something embarrassing over Brian Kelly, they could dangle in his face to settle the buyout for something less. Why would Brian Kelly take less? I'm not a big Brian Kelly supporter or fan here. I hear this, and
I'm like, why negotiate?
You fired me without cause.
And they clearly didn't have to.
You fired me at 34-14.
Right.
You fired me after we only lost to 3 top 10 teams. There was no embarrassing team that was lost to, right, by LSU this year.
Well,
so you decide to fire me, so you're going to pay me the money. That's owed.
You're right in thinking, and I agree with you on they lost to 3 top-ranked teams, right? Then, but at the same time, this is the second year in a row where they've been boat raced at home.
Oh, I get it.
And then, like, that's and the offense this year. It's not if you lose, it's how you lose. They have not been able to do anything with a Heisman Trophy candidate to start the season, and Garrett Nussmeier, plenty of athletes across the field. They have not lived up to the expectation. And the expectation there is SEC title, national championship. He's the first coach.
No doubt. He's
the first coach to not win a title for LSU since Jerry DiNardo.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that's
it's
nuts, man.
It is no doubt. I'm not defending. I'm not defending Brian Kelly. I'm saying if I'm Brian Kelly's camp, my argument is you fired me at 34-14 with 3 losses in the top 10. It's on you to pay me the buyout. We're not going to negotiate a settled buyout,
right? Yeah,
because you owe me all that money. And unless there's something embarrassing they have on Brian Kelly, where they could dangle that in his face and say, "Now we're going to pay you this much."
Chad, I would love to be a fly on the wall, and maybe he does it at a live press conference. Jimmy Sexton negotiating with Governor Landry.
Oh, my gosh.
We're done doing these contracts. Every single coach that will be at the top or near the top of LSU's list will demand that type of contract. Who does this benefit? It benefits, I think, Florida.
I mean, based on what Jeff Landry's saying, Donald Trump may be involved in the negotiation. At some point, he may hand the phone over to him with Jimmy Sexton and be like, do this or else. You're going to hire my guy that I picked. I saw Dan
Kiffin.
Wetzel post, which I thought was a really funny exercise. They said, just hypothetically, who do you think Donald Trump would pick as the next LSU coach?
Nick
Since
Saban.
Twice he said, you should go hire.
Who called Nick Saban?
I think you're probably right. I think you'd say pay as much as you can, as much as you will, to go get Nick Saban.
Who it benefits? It benefits Florida, clearly. It benefits Ole Miss. Like, why? If you're Lane Kiffin, why do you leave Ole Miss for this? I mean, this is disaster waiting to happen, right? That's the way I view. I don't know who Jeff Landry likes at LSU. He's the same governor who was trying to force the LSU women's basketball team and all athletes to go out for the national anthem, like it was some new rule or process where they were in the locker room.
Yeah,
but everyone
before they were never out there. I think
everyone had been in the locker room.
Yeah,
and that's just when they play the anthem. It's during the final moments of coaching.
It's the last 3 minutes you get in the locker room before you go out.
You do the warm-ups, you go in, and then that's when they chose to do the anthem. All of that aside, it's not the first time he's meddled, right? And why get into that?
Won't be the last.
No, it won't. No, it won't. I mean, and if you're on the board of supervisors, do you really think you're hiring the coach, or do you think it's going to be him? I think it's going to be him.
I think so, too. I think he's going to have the biggest hand in it. And I also think that he does make a great point about conflict of interest.
Sure.
I mean, he's raising a great, hey, have you guys looked to see who represents both the ADs and the coaches? It's the same guy.
His AD,
in the same agency.
His AD, his coach, and his quarterback.
So I get it, because now what you're saying is, and he's right. I mean, they are utilizing us to make themselves richer. Mm-hmm. Agent, AD, and whoever the next coach is.
Agents hand placing them.
I am not disagreeing with the governor that Scott Woodward should not be allowed to make this hire based on his recent history. My whole thing is you got to have that ready to go from the moment you have. Woodward needs to know that or get fired.
The board of supervisors.
I doubt they want to pay him a buyout is a big part of it. The board of supervisors has to know they're the ones making the pick.
The chair has to know this before he does an interview.
The confusion is the worst part of it.
About the press conference.
By the way, 34-14 was Brian Kelly's final record.
Yes.
I just looked it up. Jimbo Fisher, 45-25 over 6 seasons. So exactly 20 games over 500 also.
And the expectations of that year, right?
But it wasn't good enough. No one argued that he should be fired. He had 6 seasons, though. This was in the middle of year 4 for Brian Kelly.
$76 million buyout for Jimbo.
It was year 6 before Jimbo got fired.
What? Okay, so what coach makes sense now? Have they already set their sights on one particular coach? And there's no way they could have. There's no way this is a process that sounds like it's organized. So who knows who is coming to Baton Rouge? I don't see James Franklin wanting that, even though he would fit the model of contract that the governor's talking about.
I think James Franklin would take it, even if he knew Jeff Landry was his boss.
But he wants to go win. He
would take that.
Man,
it's still the best job that's open. There's talk right now of him already deep in the discussion with Virginia Tech. Like, he would absolutely take the LSU job.
Well,
I think.
Well, if he's taking it, then there's a number of coaches who would. And you do it for them. I mean, look, you get paid to fail in this business. But just based on the whole lay of the land with the governor and everything, Lane Kiffin should stay in Oxford based on this, or Florida. Like, again,
he's staying. I never felt better about him staying at Ole Miss than I did yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
With
like,
that press conference.
It truly benefits. I mean, there's no way Kiffin's bolting for that.
Not unless they, like,
he's not bolting for that type of contract that they're discussing.
I mean, not unless all at once they, hire a president, fire Woodward, hire Ole Miss's AD in one fell swoop, and then
don't give guaranteed money.
Which we're talking about, and the governor's right to say this. Like, I got to look out for the money for the state and the citizens, and $53 million is not what I want to be spending and shouldn't be going to this coach, but this dumb AD offered up this contract, and now I got to deal with it. I get all that, but the response to that would be, now let's pay that dumb AD a big buyout. Now let's go pay somebody else and give them a contract with a big buyout.
While we're at it, let's get rid of Kim Mulkey while we're at it.
What is she owed?
Yeah.
Let's just clear all the books.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get rid of everyone that we possibly can all at once. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Now, here's the other issue I have. It's like, okay, Woodward's not making the hire. In many cases, it's a search firm who does this stuff. It's not even the AD who has the power to do it, because they go through a search firm, through the president, and that's how it's handled. So they're on the interview, but it's a search firm that's placing the coach through the agent at the university. So this isn't like new. It's new to Scott Woodward, but not new to a university where the AD's told he's not making the hire. They're paying money for search firms. I'm sure they'll do it again here.
Our buddy Peter Burns at ESPN, SEC Network, he's an LSU guy. He posted, I thought it was brilliant. No one's going to do it because the agents control everything and they won't agree to it. But his plan, he said, if LSU could completely overhaul the current unhealthy system of head coaches' salaries, he said 4-year deal with incentives, $10 million signing bonus on day one, $1 million salary per year, all incentives after that, $500K per win, $5 million for a college football playoff spot, $2 million per playoff win and a bye, $3 million per title, $10 million buyout, blanket, $10 million no matter what year you're in. And he laid it out. So if you go 6-6, you make $4 million as the head coach. If you go 9-3 and no playoff, you make $5.5 million. If you go 10-2 and lose in the first round of the playoff, you make $11 million, which is up there with some of the highest salaries around.
It would be third, but yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, that is now. It would take everybody doing that.
It would take
all
the
at
SEC
once.
and Big Ten.
Yes, SEC and Big Ten saying we're going to do incentive-based contracts like this. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. It's a lot more financially responsible for the schools. The coaches still have a chance to make a ton of money in that, but Jimmy Sexton's not agreeing to that.
No,
and as long as Jimmy Sexton holds the purse string of everyone with talent in the sport on both coaching and AD side, none of this is going to change.
Imagine Georgia going to Kirby and be like, hey, we're going to restructure you.
Well, the guys who their grandfathered in, right? This would be totally a new one. The guys with the ridiculous contracts are all grandfathered in.
Everybody wants to stay now. I'm good.
LSU could set the trend for what's to come, is what he's saying. If they now you can get John Sumrall with that. Are you going to get Lane Kiffin with that contract? Probably not.
No.
But you can get John Sumrall, and if he goes and wins, then boom, you got the template for something bigger.
LSU certainly setting a trend here.
Yeah.
They're the governor of the state.
Both good and bad.
Tommy
good trends and
Tuberville
bad trends.
The future governor of Alabama, Tommy Tuberville. He's going to join us later in the show. Marcus Nash in studio with us next here on Hot Mic. Six of the Peabody, our location. Yeehaw, Bureau, Smoky Moonshine, Hot Mic, Hunting Withrow, here at OutKick.com. Chad, it feels like the Tennessee-Oklahoma game this weekend is a play-in game.
It doesn't feel like it. It is. It's an elimination game. I don't think it's a play-in game. It's an elimination game.
Even for Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're eliminated if they lose.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying, like, it's not a play-in because both teams would have to then still go on a run to get in.
Yeah.
It's an elimination game.
We're running back what we did last year with Alabama, LSU, Tennessee,
it's
Florida.
The start of the stretch where both teams have to win out.
Marcus Nash joins us, former Vol, in studio with us. What's up, man?
How you doing?
How much fun would you have in this Tennessee offense?
Oh man, I talk about it all the time. Like we ran, and I saw a little bit of film of the older days when we used to back in Peyton, when we played
Yeah.
Kentucky, and I went through that tape a little bit. But we were in I formation underneath center and play action and all that other kind of stuff. Now the game has changed so much, you know, vertical passing and what Heupel's doing with the offense. We would have went crazy over this offense. But it's a lot of fun to watch.
Marcus, I went back this year and watched before the Alabama game, the 95 Tennessee-Bama game down in Birmingham, and I was at that game as a kid. But watching the style of play, like you said, like the David Cutcliffe offense versus the Josh Heupel offense, it felt like I was watching a different sport. You know, like 7-step drops from under center, the way Peyton would utilize his feet and shuffle them constantly. The routes were all very – I mean, you have to feel the same way knowing the offenses you ran versus the offense you see today and looking back on what David Cutcliffe did.
Well, from what I understand, obviously the offenses have been more explosive, but it's just a lot less complicated. Obviously, the West Coast offense is kind of one of those things where I grew up when I first went into the league. But I remember watching film with Coach Cutcliffe and the offense, like even as receivers, he would give a run in the pass option even in that offense. So we had and the receivers had to know blitz pickups, hot reads, and the conversions to the passing to the they call it can or opposite or whatever that it is. We had to learn our releases and everything based off of the passing play that was connected to the running play also. So we were very complex. We were very pro style, when nowadays it's just, you know, catch the ball and go.
Why do coordinators have to make it so complicated? Why does that have to be this 20-word play call?
Well, not all offenses.
I know they're designating things, but
not all offenses are like that. Some, we had a concept called Meyer, which told everybody what to do. We had a called HBO that told 660 Bass that told everybody what to do. And for whatever reason, they've decided just to tag everybody on a specific, tag everybody's responsibility for whatever reason. And I guess, you know, people learn different ways but we've had to learn both ways. So we were able to do both, but it's just kind of just one of those things where I guess it eliminates responsibility for having to know the entire play.
I would imagine the portal has done away with a lot of this because you can't, every single year, quarterbacks are learning new systems now, wide receiver. I mean, you have to simplify it.
Absolutely. And because I watch a lot of NFL tape now, and so what you're going to see is, especially, and I'm pretty sure it's this way in college too, is everybody runs the same thing. Everybody runs the same type of concepts, the deep overs, the little bit of options, and everybody runs the same thing. So that's why, you know, the Baker Mayfields and you know, Flacco's can go for a week and learn an offense because everybody runs the same thing. And in college is everybody's running the running, we call it the run and shoot. It's the air raid offense mixed with a little bit of West Coast. So everybody knows the types of routes and the concepts overall in college.
When you look at the way college football is today with NIL, transfer portal, everything else, does it piss you off that this wasn't the way when you were there, or does it piss you off to see where the game has gone, or are you totally fine with the state of college football right now and what's happening?
We were broke in college. Like $20 to go get some Gus's was all we looked for every day almost. But
now there are high school kids driving Lamborghinis,
exactly.
By the way, committing to a school.
It's crazy. It kind of pisses me off, but at the same time, like, the kids work hard for it, but what it's doing to the game and the attitudes and how the kids are being developed, it's not good for the sport. The sport is already becoming, you know, conscious on injury prevention and soft. Like, you hear it all the time. Yeah. It's soft. So, like, giving a kid $4 million at 18 years old is not good. Like, I wouldn't allow my son to have $500. But giving a young kid that's on a pedestal and has all these fans and everything that much money, they're just not old enough to be able to understand and appreciate how to go about it and how to work for it. And the game it's being affected a little bit with the kids' attitudes these days. And you don't, like, as a freshman, if you don't do what you expected to do or what you wanted to do, you go someplace else, or you're just searching for the money. So we just talked about it. Recruiting has kind of taken a little hit because you used to have to be great at recruiting. Now you just have to have the pocketbook.
Man, I view it as a trade-off. You didn't hit the Lamborghini, but you also didn't have social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a positive.
We didn't either, thank God, right? How would fan bases talk shit to you during recruiting or during the game week, and without social media,
or other coaches even during recruiting?
Yeah, like how would they get after players then?
Well, it's as far as like bulletin board material. Is it garbage?
Yeah, or just like now fans can just hit the DMs and they just like crush the guys.
I was on an AOL dial-up at this point when
Instant
Marcus
messenger?
was being recruited too.
Yeah.
So I was in the instant messenger age at this time.
Yeah, we called it bulletin board material. If you made a comment to the press, they were going to print it, and that was what we got. Like, and Florida, we just talk about Florida.
Yeah.
They used to say these little bitty comments to their press and their meeting, and would get back to us, and that's how we would find out. Now they go and they actually talk to each other, like in their little Instagrams or the Twitters or whatever that it is. That's a big difference.
So I was 24 years old before Tennessee lost to Vanderbilt in football in my lifetime. I was undefeated until I was 24 years old. The SEC has changed so much. And I look around, I think even when you played, Marcus, I mean, it was an event if Tennessee lost to anyone not named Florida, Alabama, or Nebraska. If it was anybody below that in the SEC, oh my God, what happened? It was disaster. Whether you remember those games that you lose against those teams, it's not this case anymore. The SEC resembles the SEC. Every week, anyone can beat anyone. Vanderbilt can be a top 10 team. Do you feel like SEC fans, Tennessee fans, while you should expect excellence and winning, you got to kind of change your mindset on what program is what?
Definitely the game has changed. Like obviously the kids are more developed and now they just don't want to go to the big schools. They say, oh, well, I can get my shine elsewhere. And as the coaches begin to like elevate their recruiting and be able to bring the kids into the Vanderbilt school. I remember playing Vanderbilt. It was obviously it's the last game of the year every year, but they were always, the 4 years that I played them, they were tough.
Their defense was really good.
Really good.
Peyton had a tough time against
absolutely.
their defense every year.
Absolutely. The first time I seen were 3 safeties over top and 5 people underneath. Vanderbilt was doing all that kind of stuff, and they were doing zone blitzing and everything, and like way back then. So Vanderbilt, although we counted it as kind of like an automatic, they always played us tough, and we could never really just blow them out the majority of the time. So I think they just need to understand that adding the new teams and getting better players, and now everybody wants, like nobody's really, there's no more Nick Saban, so not everybody has that fear factor of all these upper level teams, and all these upper level teams can be beat. And that's where lots of times, a lot of these teams are beat just by the name. They're beat before the game is even played. Now, you can get beat by any given team, any given day, and I think these kids are starting to understand and know that, and they're not so overwhelmed with just the name of the Floridas or the Bamas or the Georgias.
There's not a lot of people, not a lot of humans who can say they've caught passes from Peyton Manning and John Elway, especially with the special relationship Peyton Manning and John Elway later went on to have. How different was that when you look at Peyton Manning's ball versus John Elway's ball? John Elway known to break some fingers during his day with his velocity. What was that like going from one legend in college that went on to be a pro football legend to catching passes from an actual legend at that time in the NFL?
Well, they threw the same type of ball. Like John Elway was, he was older. He was 38. He was older, so obviously he didn't have as much velocity, but he can still throw it. Peyton they threw the same type of ball. John Elway was like the master of that back shoulder, and that was kind of the first time I like caught balls from the back shoulder, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But as far as leadership, the ball, the type of quarterback that they were the same guy, even coming from college to pro. Even like at Peyton being so young, it wasn't necessarily a big culture shock playing with John Elway because, Peyton was Peyton and John was John. And for me, it was like they were like the same guy. Like there wasn't really, oh, I'm playing with John Elway, because obviously Peyton had that type of pull here and down in the South.
Is there a way to interact with those two guys, Peyton especially, because we've seen video of him where he's very demanding. right? He's going to get on his offensive line. He's going to get on his receivers at times. He's going to be very vocal about it. We've seen situations where guys will talk back to Peyton if they feel like they need to. Is there a fine line and a balance with a competitor like that of when to just sit there and be quiet and when to, give it back to a Peyton Manning?
Let me tell you something. Our team was we looked at each other as all leaders in the same person. We gave it to Peyton. Our receivers, Peerless, Andy, me, Jermaine. Like if we felt like we were, nah, that ain't right. Peyton, no, it's bullshit. That's bullshit. Yeah. That's what he used to say all the time. But it was a type of respect where we gave as much effort into the game as he did, and so that's why we were able to be able to have our voice within the huddle.
And he had that respect for you.
And that's the whole thing. So and I think as long as he knows that you gave the same effort and the same dedication to the game, you could have those conversations. And yeah, we fought a little bit, but at the same time, there was always a solution. We always came out with an understanding, but we worked hard at it. We worked every single day after practice, 45 minutes after practice, to make sure we saw what we saw, we did what we did, but we worked at it. And so that's why we were playing on the same type of level.
Could you give it to Elway the same way?
No. Elway was Elway. If he says something, you.
Was your rookie season the Super Bowl year?
Yes.
First off, you go rookie season.
Well, 97 and 98 back to back. He started out with 2 Super Bowl championships with John Elway. And you did walk into a situation where he was like a living statue at that point to the city of Denver, right?
Oh yeah, I'm thinking he had like 7 car lots and John Elway, and he had just came off of a Super Bowl, and so he was the guy. And I remember like one time, like, because I was inactive for the first 2 games because back then, like, the West Coast offense was the Bill Walsh. Mike Shanahan ran that Bill Walsh offense, not the little the different verbiages as far as people put their little twist on it. He ran Bill Walsh's offense. So it was very lengthy, very long. You had to be here at a certain time, and I was more of an open, creative type of receiver where I had stems and different things, but everything was square cut. Everything, you had to be here at this time when you were supposed to be there. So it took a couple of games to kind of get used to kind of like the offense but I remember the 3rd game, John Elway, we were practicing, and there was a guy there was a receiver out there running routes, and he did not do it exactly how John wanted it to, and he stopped the practice. He was like, "Listen, Nash, get in there. He can't play in here no more." And so that next game, he was inactive, and he was traded like literally the next couple weeks. So if John Elway says something, then best believe it is what it was.
Well, the ability to sub someone out of a practice or a game if you're their quarterback. Nope, get in, you're coming in, you're going out. Was he vocal to his teammates about what he wanted and would get on them, and there was no talking back to John Elway, I'm guessing?
He didn't really
Unless you were a veteran, maybe?
No, he didn't really say much. And that Denver team was very similar to what champion teams are. There was, you have your hierarchy, but at the same time, like, everybody worked hard. So you had TD, you had Sharp, you had Trevor Price, you had John Mobley, you had all these guys. Slayer, Mark Stink. So you had all of these guys that were on that same championship level and mentality that he didn't really have to say much. Now, if we weren't doing what we were supposed to be doing, he would come on that Wednesday and be like, "Yo, we have to take care of business. Yo, this is not right. We got to take care of this. We got to make sure we do what we're supposed to do." But he wasn't really at that stage in his career. He wasn't real vocal on the team because he didn't really have to be.
So you get traded. Jarring? Got to be jarring. I wouldn't like that.
It was very surprising.
And that was Miami, I think.
Yes.
And you end up with Baltimore.
Yes.
Going up against Baltimore's defense? What year was this? But this has been
99.
This is the same group that we know. The practices against Denver's defense for you versus Baltimore's. How would you compare them?
So I keep saying like championship team mentality. So I was blessed to be part of championship teams. Whatever,
winning
good luck
cultures.
trying.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So that defensive culture was the same offensive culture in Denver.
Gotcha.
So coaches like Marvin Lewis, they didn't have to do much. Obviously, they had to put the game plan in, but
You guys coach yourselves.
like Ray Lewis
Yeah.
led the practices. I remember a couple of times Ray Lewis doing the script, doing the defensive script versus the offense. So I was playing a little bit.
I'm just
scout
laughing
team.
picturing him with a dry erase board.
No,
in
no.
practice. Like, all right, here's what we're going to do. He takes the helmet off, shoulder pad still on.
I'm telling you, like
Session 1.
a couple of times, like a guy did a scout team guy didn't do what he's supposed to, and Ray Lewis said, "No, you don't run that. They don't run that route like they do it this way." So
That's amazing.
all of those guys were so locked in to the game day prep that you didn't really have to do it. So you understood that defense was like if you weren't able to witness, and it wasn't just Ray Lewis. It was Peter Bulwer. It was Sharper. It was it's Goose. It was all of these guys had their part to play. Even if from the top to the bottom, they had their part to play and they understood their role within what they were supposed to do. Even the backup guys, Lionel Dalton was like somebody nobody even thinks about. He was like a 5'10", 290-pound bowling ball, but he was just like Goose. So people like everybody's responsibility was literally understood by each and every single player to the T.
Well, and then Billick just was the perfect coach for that group.
And I tell people all the time, Billick was like, I tell this all the time, Billick was a genius. Like, I remember Billick mapping out from training camp, literally day by day, vacations, days off from training camp, all the way to the Super Bowl win.
Okay.
What we were doing at the Super Bowl. So literally from the training camp all the way to the Super Bowl, he had it mapped out.
Amazing.
Exactly, and when we followed it from
I
day
bet.
1 to day X, however how many days it was.
Tennessee, Oklahoma, in Knoxville. Special place in your heart, obviously, with Tennessee from Edmond, Oklahoma. How hard did Oklahoma recruit you? And what was that decision like when you decided to go to Tennessee before we get to your game prediction?
Well, they still called me a traitor in Oklahoma. Like we mentioned, Sarah mentioned it. They said they met somebody that said, "Oh, Nash from," I guess they were from Oklahoma. Said, "Oh, that traitor went to Tennessee." But Oklahoma was part of my 5. We had to take 5 schools, obviously, but they were in that down year, and they weren't really throwing the football, and so I took my visit. I just didn't feel it. I just didn't feel, the connection to it before, because we talked about I was an Oklahoma. I was a Mike Gaddis fan. I was like that option. I was that fan. I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. So I loved Oklahoma.
Troy Aikman left Oklahoma because of what you're talking about with the offense.
Yeah,
an Oklahoma boy also.
Absolutely. So they weren't really throwing the football that much, and Tennessee had all the legendary receivers, Carl Pickens, all those guys that were before me. And Joey was there when I got. So it was just kind of one of those things where it's the wide receiver tradition at Tennessee is what did it.
What happens on Saturday night when Tennessee hosts Oklahoma in this game? A battle of the top offense in the SEC versus the top defense in the SEC.
I think, and we've been talking about it the whole time, I think it's with defenses like that, you're going to have to be able to have like a 4-minute offense or a 5-minute offense to where you can run the football and control the clock. Like a lot of these times, it can't be all or nothing. If we can't get down the field, we have to be able to control the line of scrimmage and keep putting pressure on the quarterback and keep winning the game that way. And if we can do that, we have a great shot at winning.
I feel too good about this game.
Yeah, the more I read about it, the better I feel.
Yeah.
Coming off the defensive performance, and like the offense is awesome, but I thought, well, Tennessee's going to give up 45 to anybody they play that's any good. And then I start to read about Oklahoma's schedule and how they looked against actual offenses versus bad offenses. Yeah. And Ole Miss did whatever they wanted.
And this will be the best offense.
And Ole Miss has a quarterback who's not as good at throwing the deep ball
as
Joey Aguilar is. So I like Tennessee's chances too. Does Tennessee win on Saturday?
I think they win. Hopefully it's an easy game and we can just be out there just having fun and watching throw touchdowns. But obviously this is, like you guys talked about, this is almost like an elimination game where both teams are going to bring their A game, both coaches. They're gonna bring their A game. They're gonna put everything out there. So it's gonna be a great game. But I just think we have a little bit more than they do. So we should be able to come through with.
It will not be an easy game. It's definitely going to be close in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But Tennessee wins.
Marcus, thanks for the visit, man. Good to have you in the studio.
Appreciate you.
Come back anytime.
Appreciate you having me.
Senator Tommy Tuberville will join us straight ahead right here on Hot Mic. It's Hot Mic, Honey Withrow, OutKick.com, streaming here at the site, and you can check out the YouTube page as well for post-show clips, highlights, and more. He is the senator from Alabama. He's also the future governor of the state, and he joins us now. Tommy Tuberville. Coach, good to have you back on the show.
Hey, great to be here, guys. Let's talk some good sports.
Absolutely. Hey, and good tailgate. You're hosting later today a tailgate luncheon, and no doubt it's during football season.
Yeah, well, every Thursday, some senator, you take turns. You provide lunch and a bag of things that are made in your state. And so today is my turn, and here you see Harvest Select. That's
Yes.
catfish. We're having catfish for lunch, and most of these people never eat a catfish in their life. But they're going to learn to eat it if they're hungry today. But it's fun. You talk about the things that are going on great in your state, and talk about things that, as I said, that are made. We do a lot of things, wickles, pickles, you name things, and we make it in Alabama.
Hey, we know about it right here in the Mid-South, no doubt, man.
We are not one of those people who have not ever tried catfish. That's been a staple meat for me growing up.
Hey, so what in college football right now, what used to happen eventually is now happening immediately with the firings and the buyouts and everything else. What do you make of this, the decisions that are being made to remove coaches mid-season, the buyouts, the negotiate, all this to jump into the pool of a group of candidates that I'm not sure have the qualifications to meet the standard of the university that wants to upgrade?
Well, we've created a situation where it used to be you would fire somebody maybe at the end of the season. And why would you do that? To get a jump on hiring somebody else, because it might be somebody you had your eye on. Now it's for the reason of transfer portal and being able to make sure that whoever you're talking to that's coming in can make a plan in terms of that transfer portal and recruiting. It is a tougher situation now for coaches, although, the buyouts now are big. Look at the money that these guys are making. Now, when are they going to start firing some of these athletic directors that put these deals together? It's just amazing to me how stupid some of these people are. But at the end of the day, football coaches are making money, but they're leaving earlier to get a jump on recruiting is basically what this is for.
Well, and we all know college football is huge business right now for a lot of the reasons that you outlined there, Senator. When you look at the state of Louisiana, you got Jeff Landry, their governor, having to get involved in the firing of Brian Kelly because there's no school president right now at LSU. What did you make of that story and the involvement of state government with the football program at LSU and that $53 million in buyout that's now owed to Brian Kelly?
Well, that's a good point. And being the future, and a little over a year of future governor of Alabama, I hope I don't have to get involved in things like this. But if you look what Governor Landry did, he got involved. Number one, they didn't have a president. Number two, this huge buyout. Now, you're talking about states that are scraping for every nickel and dime the taxpayers' money, to take care of the people of the state. And so I'm sure they were looking for ways maybe to sell this as a not all this money. And at one time, again, the leader of the state should get involved when it's something like this. But it's an amazing time in our business when you had the Penn State coach gone, millions paid out. Same thing with Brian Kelly. It's a different time, different era, and again, obviously the transfer portal, the NIL, it is a disaster as we speak.
And I'm sure they're going to go to some of their big money boosters and say, hey, how much can you pitch in for this buyout to help with that? And it won't all be coming from the state. I'm curious, though, in your time, and you spent a lot of years as a head coach, and part of the job of a head coach is to have a good relationship with some of the top money people at whatever school you're at. But the difference in going to a booster and talking about, hey, we really need you to donate this so we can get our weight training facility up to par with some of the other schools in the SEC or whatever conference you're in, versus, hey, I need $500,000 more dollars to go get this quarterback because the last quarterback didn't work. How much more difficult is that to navigate in the world of NIL and transfer portal?
Well, I think it's really opened the eyes of a lot of people. You know, we're playing minor league sports now in college. It is a lot of money that's invested. You know, if you go back and think about, you know, a situation that you want to put together a football team right. And nowadays, if you look at Vanderbilt and Indiana, all these teams that have not been at the top 10 teams in the country, but now they are, it's a simple fact they've had a plan of now they are paying their coaches a lot of money. But if I was putting together a team, one of the least paid people in the athletic department, number one, would be the athletic director, and number two would be the head coach and the assistants, because it's really not about coaching as much anymore as it is about going out and using that money to buy players. And so it's a tough situation, but if you don't spend $20 million now on a football team, you really have no chance to compete against the upper level of whoever is spending that type of money.
How did the coaches end up with the same agent? Everybody has the same agent in college football.
Jimmy has been in it a while. When I went in 1994, my first head coaching job, I took the job at Ole Miss, and I get a call. And the call is from Memphis, and it's from Jimmy Sexton, who I did not have a clue who that was. And he said, "Coach, I want to come help you with your contract." I said, "What do you mean, help me with my contract?" Well, he says, I've got Bill Parcells in college in pro football, but I want to get into college in terms of contracts with coaches. I said, "Well, come on down, we'll talk about it." And he come in and said, "Well, I'm not going to charge you anything." He said, "I just want to make sure everything, all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and you understand what you're getting into." And so he helped me. He helped me with all my contracts. And vice versa, I helped him get a lot of people as we went along there. And he's pretty much controlled the SEC and even some of the Big Ten and the ACC. And Jimmy's done well. He's been very good for it, but he has been able to really take on these athletic directors who are really not very smart in a lot of areas and convince them that, hey, athletic director, you got to give him this, or my guy's not going to come your way. So it's Jimmy's done his job, and he's done it well. And he's cost a lot of schools a lot of money.
Man, and now he's representing some of the players that are playing for the coach. I mean, he navigates that. He's much like a politician. He is very good.
He controls the chairs in the game of musical chairs of all the coaches' openings because he represents everyone.
Yeah, you have players, coaches, athletic directors, everybody involved. And again, he has a big company. It used to be him and a couple other people. Now he had sold it, started it over. He's done all kind of things, but he's done it right. And Jimmy's a very good business guy. He makes friendships with the people and really keeps up with. He just doesn't do a contract. He carries on relationships and works for things to make you more money on the side. So it's again, Jimmy has done his due diligence. He's earned his way, and a lot of people complain about him, but again, it's not the coaches, it's the athletic directors and presidents that think they're being held hostage. Hey, grow a set, go out there and do your job, and don't think you got to pay an arm and a leg for somebody that just because they have a name, you think you can win the press conference. Go hire you a good coach.
Coach, one of my favorite things to do is look at coaching openings or just jobs in general and kind of rank them in college football and say, okay, this job's better than this job or that job. You mentioned 1994-95, your first opportunity as a head coach at Ole Miss. The Auburn opportunity comes up. At the time in the late 90s, it was a no-brainer. You know, everyone would look at that and say, Auburn's a better job than Ole Miss. You leave Ole Miss for Auburn. Now you got Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and LSU is going to be an opportunity. Florida's going to be an opportunity. In the late 90s, everyone would say, well, you leave Ole Miss for LSU or Florida. Has that changed now when you look at the college sports world we live in, where you could make any job as good as the other if you have the right amount of money?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And things have really changed in terms of a head coach looking at a program. As you said at one time, you looked at facilities and the opportunity to bring in and sell a young man on the weight room and the dressing rooms. That's over. Game, set, match. That's done. Now, as a head coach, if you're at a school, you look how much money am I going to be able to get to buy players? Bottom line. Now, obviously, you want to make some money yourself, but you want to make sure you don't price yourself out of. If you're going to stay, you want 15, 20, 30 million dollars to be able to go out and buy your football team because it's out there. And you're not going to outcoach anybody when it comes down to it. You're going to go out and you still have to recruit them. These guys, they're paying $10,000, $15,000 just for players to visit a game. I mean, this has really gotten out of control. So at the end of the day, I'm not talking just about Lane. I'm talking about any coach that's looking at it, maybe changing a situation or going to a school. Is that school going to give you a chance to buy the best players? If they don't, then you better stay either where you're at or go look for another job.
Coach Saban's been out of it for 2 years now. And I'm thinking, man, when you were 2 years out of coaching, how much did you miss it? Because he's like, I'm not getting back into it. Stop asking. Yeah. Were you the same way? Or were you like, man, I wish, I'll jump back in a heartbeat?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you get out for a reason. And I've been in it for a while. And, the travel, the 365. I mean, this is not a 5-day-a-week job. If you're a college football coach, it's 24/7, 365 days if you're going to compete. Now, I've seen other coaches, and I can name some that really don't uphold that. They just try to do a regular job and they eventually don't make it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I mean, I miss game day. Everybody asks, Coach, do you miss coaching? Yeah, I really miss the game atmosphere, the players and the coaches, the family relationship. Other than that, I'm going to tell you, dealing with parents and with money and agents that are not certified, these young guys off the street or a family friend that's doing their contract, it is way out of control. The NCAA has got to get control of this. And, we've got to do something with the transfer portal. Transferring every year is not going to get an education for anybody. And last time I looked, these are universities that give educations, and that's the number one goal.
Another great visit from you. Thank you for the time. Get to your tailgate luncheon.
You got it. Look forward to it, guys. And have a great day.
Yeah, same to you. And we look forward to some catfish at some point. Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Thank you,
Senator Tuberville. Another great visit, great perspective.
It's got me really hungry for catfish now.
Same.
A little tartar sauce. Dip in a little tartar sauce.
Yeah, man.
Can't beat it.
Let's go to a fish fry.
You can fry almost anything, and I'll eat it though. Let's be really honest about it.
Hey, we're back at it tomorrow. Hope you'll join us, 11 a.m. Eastern. Top Mike Hunt and Withrow right here at OutKick.com. Thanks for joining us.